Hello, good afternoon. So today, welcome anyone who's watching. So today is going to be predominantly a Blender. Again, I might stream twice today because I'm going to be streaming about a client logo that I worked on according to my system 6 years ago, and things have changed a lot since then rather. So yeah, I might stream later on tonight as well because I would like to try and it depends on how this goes really, but I would like to try and get the Victorian house going. So yeah, today I've been working on actually some video editing and such like. I did some photography towards the end of last year for this client. It's Project Active, just a fitness and health client of mine, and I'm a client of his, so it works both ways. And it was 6 years ago that I actually created these files and tried to. Now I can't remember exactly what it is I did. I'm trying to remember. I think I took their logo and converted it to an SVG file, if I remember rightly, or something along those lines, and then brought that into Blender and basically created a. And I know it was a mess. I know that it was a real mess, and it was actually really. I wasn't happy with it, and so therefore I actually gave up. And now, if I look at these files, I obviously started. Well, I create. Oh no, okay. So I started this in June of 2014, and then I did something again in August, and then something again in October, and I've got an animated version of their logo, and I think I had a vision at the time of what I wanted to try and do, and it was first. I think it was actually my first. May not have been my first attempt at doing animation in Blender, but I know it was in the early stages of me doing sort of camera tracking and animation at a very very low level in Blender, and I found it difficult. It was really hard work, but of course that's 6 years ago. Well, 6.5 years ago. So things have changed. Blender's changed for a start. Blender's got a lot more easier to use, for sure. And thankfully, the logo for the client hasn't changed. So they're still using the same logo, the same color, font, and everything. And that's their their branding is obviously very well known around Oxfordshire anyway. They're based in Oxfordshire, and I think they just focus on providing health and fitness services, etc., for people in Oxford. So let's see, make sure everything is working. Microphone is working. Yep. So what I'm going to do, I just thought it would be interesting. I think I'm going to start from scratch because things have changed. And there are, as there are with a lot of things with Blender, there's a multiple choice of methods to get things like logos and such like. I've not actually heard of anyone using. I'm pretty sure the file type was SVG, if I remember rightly. Let me just move this over here. 1 minute while I pretty sure it was SVG. Let me see whether there are any art files in there. I mean, I've got all their logo. They've actually given me their logo and artwork. So I'm just intrigued as to what it was. Project. There we go. So I've got hollowed PNGs. Now these are just the textures that I okay. No, okay, so I don't really have. Oh my goodness! And the animation that was exported out as PNG files. Wow. And then I converted all that lot into an MP4 using an editing program. So yeah, it was 200 frames, and it was literally okay. So it was pretty primitive. It was just literally running along the length of the logo, and in fact, it wasn't their full logo either. So the task today, my stream today, if anyone is interested and anyone wants to contribute or question or whatever, is for me to probably remake the logo from scratch. But just as an exercise, I'm going to open up the files that I made before, because they haven't been touched for 6 years. So it'll be very interesting to see. So let's start from the beginning. Okay, so let's just sort it by date modified. 15th of June. Okay. Well, that's obviously the first one. So I'm just going to open these up and find out what's going on. Okay, so it's just literally a plane. So I don't know. Oh, okay. So nothing. Okay, so they're fairly low poly. I mean, this was obviously with a different kind of graphics card, and I think I had a fairly low spec NVIDIA GTX graphics card. I was happy with it at the time, and of course, you know, the Blender versions have changed since then. I've now got a better card, let's say. I'm not going to say which one it is, because people are just really snobberish about graphics cards, and everyone seems to think you're supposed to get the, you know, an RTX 3090 or something. You know, I mean, it's just kind of gets a bit crazy. It all depends on what you're using it for. Of course, most people are actually playing games. I guess unless you're a massive developer of 3D for games, then yeah, go for it. But pretty much everyone else doesn't actually need a card that high spec. So this looks fairly clean. It's interesting how all my menus have changed. Why? I guess because this was probably yeah, so the menus for some unknown reason are down the bottom here. I guess this is kind of a leftover from possibly version 2 point something, whatever the version was. I don't know whether I can find that out. Can I actually find that out? Let me just check. Does it actually tell you what file it was made in? Let's just have a look. see if I don't know whether Windows 10 tells you what file that it was created or last saved in. It just says it's a blend file. No. It doesn't give me anything else other than that it was a blend file. Okay, so there's no way of finding that out. It's fine. But we take it out of orthographic view. How do you that's better. Can't remember. I don't really ever use orthographic view, to be honest. Oh, number pad 5. Okay, right. So I'm going to look. I'm just going to inspect this. Yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess. I can remember it being an utter mess. And okay, I mean it's not bad. It's also not the worst. You know, it's not the worst mesh I've seen or done myself. But it is kind of a mess. It's not. Look, you know. So my gut feeling says it's kind of telling me to start from scratch, and I'm kind of in two minds as now. I can't remember what the font was for this. What is that? Don't know what that is. What is that there? Huh. Can't seem to select it. Doesn't seem to be. How do you move these menus up the top? Why are they? Yeah, if I remember rightly, this was a version 2 thing. If I remember rightly, this kind of menu at the bottom. I don't know quite how you move them. Header. Oh, okay. Right, okay. So yeah, probably not the best mesh now, and I know I can do better than that. Let's open up a different file. Let's just don't save that. So if we work our way down, so I created obviously chromed edited version 2, I called this. Okay, so I've got a better. Interesting. Ooh, we're in orthographic view. I obviously liked orthographic view for some reason. This seems to be all one mesh. I don't think I've done any. No, this is even worse. Yeah, this is pretty much how. Yeah, this is even worse. So I suspect that the first file I opened was a tidied up version, because I mean, look at this mess. And if I remember rightly, this is pretty much how it comes in from an SVG file. So nah, we're not going to use that. What did I actually do with this? Oh, I suspect that this is... No, it isn't. How come we're not looking... We're not... No, so this is not the animated one. Right, so let's open up a different one. Now we've got something... Yeah, I think this was just me playing around with various different... and trying to figure out... I remember at the time... I was just thinking this is awful, but at the time, I do remember watching several videos from people who were doing, you know, I mean, this was the thing back then. I mean, I think it's all just changed now, but it's awful. I mean, look at it. It's just absolutely awful. Is this still a thing? Importing... I'm pretty sure it's SVG files into Blender. I don't think that's a thing anymore. Simple 2D to 3D. Yeah. It's still a thing. Yeah, there's the... so it was J&M. It was J&M that I remember watching that video, and it was Blender import SVG into Inkscape tutorial, and then bringing that then into Blender. Wow, I've been watching him quite a while. Yeah, so it's definitely still a thing. Interesting. Okay. But the problem is you have no, and this is why I'm thinking that I will bring the logo in and do what I've seen an awful lot of people do, which is basically trace the artwork and then, you know, kind of turn it into 3D. But I mean, look at the state of this. This is just awful. And I can remember spending hours and hours and hours trying to get this tidied up. You know, I mean, look at the bevel that's on. It's just awful. It's interesting when you look back over old files, you know. So let's look at another version. Motion capture. Oh, okay, so this must have been the version that I... so all it did was this. Yeah. And I think after this, I then called it a day, because I just wasn't really getting the you know, you got to remember, this is 6 years ago. I mean, things have come on such a lot since then, really. Not only my own progress, but, you know, the capabilities of Blender have come on quite a long way. Now, I suspect that this mesh is the one that I tidied up. Yeah, I spent a long time getting rid of vertices and trying to tidy this up as much as possible, but you can see it's just not, still not right. It's still not right. I can't even remember how you bring this in anymore. So let me just see whose video is this. Blender Binge. This is 2018, so yeah. Maybe some things have changed. I don't know. Possible. Anyway, let's continue on. So this is sort of going back over a bit of history. I obviously found out how to do chroming. Okay, so I was just like playing around with different movement of the camera, and I think the idea was that I was going to bring this yeah. Okay. Not going to focus too much on. It's just nice to see, you know, how things have changed. So, and then there was this one, which was obviously the last thing that I did. So again, you know, it just did that basically. Whoopee. I don't know. Oh dear. Yeah, so that went horribly wrong. And I think I was just getting frustrated. I think that's basically what was happening. I was just getting frustrated with this thing, and you know, I just kind of gave up on it in the end. And I'm pretty sure that I went and used another program, another 3D kind of, you know, it was like a logo animation thing from years and years and years and years and years ago. And that's what I used to create the effect in the end, because it was just easier to do. I wish back then, 6 years ago, I'd had the Blender versions that we got now. Probably would have got further. Um, so I'm just looking to sort of recap on SVG to mesh. This is 2 years ago. I'm just looking at a video. So okay, um, I think what I'll do actually is let's just highlight this. Let's just go file. Let's just export this out as a Collada file. Yeah, okay. Let's just export that out. And obviously set up this environment with lighting, and you know, and I can remember at the time I was actually quite impressed with the final, you know, the final render. But it was just not really what I wanted. So let's just get rid of that. So I'm just looking at this, importing SVG to mesh and finding out. I'm intrigued as to whether anything's happened with he's not showing how mucked up the mesh is. I mean, you know, okay, it looks okay on import and such like, but if you want to start doing something nice with it, you really need to sort out the yeah, and they're not showing this at all. They basically just brought it in SVG file, Blender Binge. It's a Blender Binge video. So importing. Oh, okay, SVG, scalable vector graphics. Okay. Okay, right. So I think there's a couple of ways of doing this. Let's just bring in their artwork so that we can see and start playing with it. As I say, I'm kind of in two minds as to whether to, I've seen people doing logos. I'm not so sure going down the SVG route again is because it's a mess. It really is just a mess. Let me think while I'm contemplating. Let's go here, 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 artwork and logos. Right, okay, so we've got the logo. Ooh, I've just got another idea, actually. I have another idea because there's also another kind of logo splash that they use on a lot of their product. And, okay, so let's bring this in anyway. Yeah, so I've got actually a piece of artwork that is just that footprint, and I do actually remember asking them if they had the font, if they knew what the font was, and I don't think they really knew what the font was. No, I haven't got the font. I don't think I've got the font at all. God, I used to do an awful lot of artwork for them. Just it's interesting, isn't it, going back over history of client work and just looking at what it was used to produce before. I produced 3D buttons for them, all sorts, posters, banners, yeah, t-shirt design, hats, caps, circuit posters. Wow, it's been a while since I used to do a lot of photography. Big posters, testimonial videos. God. Did a lot of stuff for their Facebook, social media. Wow. quite amazing. Motivational posters. Did quite a bit of artwork for the Hadrian's Wall thing. Ooh, hang on a minute. I've got font folder there. Let me just check. What is the font? Because that would save an awful lot of time and effort if I actually had the font. PA fonts. Ooh, okay. It's called Prisoner. Prisoner SF. Really? Let's install it. Let's see whether text. Of course, does it that way around, doesn't it? Okay. It's obviously not called Prisoner. Okay, just looking for the font. If I can use the font rather than you know, having to start from scratch, that would save a lot of time and also give me much cleaner mesh. I might have to reload. I don't think you can. Can you refresh the font? Because obviously I came in here. Okay, so let me just save this project file. I may have to close. Can you not just refresh the fonts that are available to Blender on the fly? Cannot see all fonts. Okay. Okay, so it seems to be quite a common problem. True type fonts. Okay, so it is a true type font. Okay. So it may not see it. But it could be worth actually let me save this, and so I'm going to call this I redo renaming now. 210112 PA new 3D logo. Right, so we're going to work on that. I'm going to close Blender down a minute, so let's just bear with me 1 minute while I just close Blender down and reopen it, because it might refresh the font. Okay, going back in. There we go, 3D. Right, we're back. Right, can I now see? Pristina, but not. Interesting, isn't it? Why is it not seeing that other font? It's definitely called Prisoner. It actually does look like the proper font. Yeah, it does actually look like the proper font. Or is it? I can't remember whether I ever used this font, to be honest with you. I don't know, and I think that's why I went down the route of opening the SVG route. Let me just see whether that really is. I'm using a very old vector graphics program now. Well, it's not very old. It is old. I don't know whether anyone ever remembers a company called Serif. They were brilliant. I had been pretty much using the Serif software from like nearly all the software, Page Plus, Draw Plus, you know, from the very early versions. And a few years ago they decided they were going to change their whole, you know, software platform and moved over to, God, I can't even remember what it's called now. And they just stopped. Draw Plus just stopped. Always thought it was a real shame. Right, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. Okay, let's see if we can see what that font does. I suspect actually that it's just a compatible, because I don't think that they remember what their font was, which is quite typical for most companies, because they get the artwork done by some, you know, third party art company or logo company or PR company or something, and they just don't know. They never get told what the font is. No, I think it's a compatible. Yeah, it's not the right font. It's just a compatible. Okay, right, so we can't go down that route of using the font. And I think actually that there is also, isn't there a website you can go to that sort of says what's this font? What is this font? Yeah, here we go. Font Finder. Okay, I'm not going to use. They want you to sign up, and I just hate it when they do that. So I'm going to take their artwork. Let's see if I got a clean image of their logo. Let's have a look and see if I can dump that in, and it may or may not tell me. We don't want. Let's see, plain, straightforward. Yeah. Let's just drag that over and see whether it can identify. Of course, you know, again, things have changed. Oh wow, it's identified it. Maturate it. Oh wow. That's done a bloody good job, if you don't mind me saying so. It's called Newtown. Interesting. And it's free. Yeah, looks pretty good actually. It's the E's. Okay, so it's the E which is, and then okay, so that's pretty similar. The E looks good. The course, P, yeah, P, lowercase p. Where's the lowercase p? Yep. The R is quite specific. Ah, it's not the same. No. No. It is very similar, but it's not the same. Shame. Very close. I remember having this problem before. I do remember having this problem before. Let's drag it and drop it in there. Okay. Please enter at least one character. Okay. So this is P. Bear with me. R O J E C T A. No, they're so close. Okay, so this doesn't. They're not getting the R right. The R is quite, you know, quite specific, quite unique. Oh, there we go. No, J's wrong. The E's right. The O is correct. Wow, that's actually pretty close. J, no. I just don't know. course, we can always edit the mesh. Thing is, I could be spending so much time re-editing mesh. It's just not going to be. I think this was the reason why I went down the route of the SVG file. I'm pretty certain this is the reason why none of these come anywhere close. So I have no idea what the font is. Out of all of those fonts that it's tried to guess, it's not really close enough. Commercial or free. Such a shame. Such a shame. So, the only thing that I can think of is that's pretty clean. Okay, so the only thing that I can think of is that we just bring the file. Can I? That is pretty clean. Right, so if I bring that into Blender rather than let's get rid of that 1 minute and let's bring this version in and see if we can get a clean. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That is a much better. So I think this text we need to get rid of, really. It's no use to us. It is just not going to work. I'm really debating. I'm wondering whether this is a bit of a waste of a video, really, because there's going to be a lot of work involved, and I'm just wondering whether to just bring this in as an SVG again and just spend time cleaning it up. This is what the logo is now. Having just the word Project Active isn't enough. It really needs to be all of this. Decisions. Do I go around this? You know, do I spend time? Because literally, let me just. Basically, what we're going to be doing is the easiest way I've ever seen this being done is using the knife tool. The trouble being that scale. Is you know, it's just going around literally cutting this out. guess the good thing really with doing it this particular way is, one, you're getting, you see that's not really very yeah, you have to be very accurate if you want it to look good. You just have to be really accurate. And I've not been very accurate. Okay, I'm thinking that it just may need to go down the route of SVG again, because I can't think of any other way of bringing this in without it taking a huge amount of time on re-editing. So, yes. Let me see what's going to happen. So I've got a file that is kind of transparent. Can I export this out as an SVG? Yes, I can. Selected object. Compatibility mode with, let's say, Adobe Illustrator. Draw text as curves. Let's up the DPI. I don't remember these options being here before. I can't remember what I used. I think I used Inkscape, if I remember rightly. I'm pretty sure I used Inkscape before. Let's export that out. So let's just call this PA logo, and I'm going to put a date on it so that I know roughly when this was done. This is an exploration today. You know, this is the kind of thing that you hit when you're trying to do something. Yeah, so I used Inkscape. I'd used Inkscape before, but I think it was fairly low res, whereas now I've exported it out as high res. So let's see how that works. I think let's get rid of this. I'm not going to need it. Let's put the logo, let's put the cursor back to the world origin. Let's import SVG. Cool. Okay. Oh, of course it's not there, is it? This one. Ooh, it's considerably larger. Oh no, it isn't actually. It's considerably lower and yet higher resolution. Interesting. Okay, so what did that do? Am I missing something? Okay, let's not do it in such high resolution. It could be that it didn't like. Let's take off. And take off the compatibility mode. 300 DPI. Okay, let's try that again. There must be something it doesn't like. It certainly... Oh, hang on. It did bring it in. Okay, where's it put it? Okay, I'm not seeing it, so I don't know where it is. What does that box mean? Collection. I don't think it did bring it in. File, let's import it again because I've saved it as slightly different format. Okay. It's not bringing it in. It's saving it as a collection. It's not bringing the artwork in. Import. Let's bring in the my old one. Oh, that's brought in immediately. Okay. It's possible that there is something wrong. Okay, so file. Okay, so let's just play around with selected object SVG. Okay. Export. Ooh, hang on a minute. If I remember rightly, I remember there being an issue with spaces in the... Yes. I think there's a problem with spaces in the wording of the... That could be what the problem is. Okay. Sorry about this. Anyone watching this is probably absolutely bored out of their brain, but you know, this is real world stuff. So you know, not everything is all hunky dory and whatever. No, this is just not bringing it in. It really isn't bringing it in. Okay, let's export out. I'm going to put the compatibility mode. I know I did it before in Inkscape, so let's export that out again. File, import, SVG. No, really doesn't like it. It's not. It's creating the collection, but it isn't bringing the artwork in. So I wonder. Importing SVG into Blender. I know there is issues. There are issues with SVG files in Blender. So it says, why can't I import an SVG from Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape into Blender? So interesting. So people, right, it used to work in version 2.79, but people can't get it to work in 2.8. Yeah, it's not a common thing. This is a very common error with a simple solution. Just because you saved it as an SVG doesn't mean the information is in vector format, and Blender's SVG import expects vector paths to create curve objects. Right. Has to be traced. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Now I do have that option in draw text as curves. I wonder, is it because I've got it up too high? Okay, let's try that. So we're rendering it as curves. It has to be once the image has been properly traced and saved as an SVG, the file should import correctly on Blender. So using Inkscape, I might have to do it in Inkscape. I know the problem that I had before importing it into Blender was the fact that it was such low res. It wasn't really a high enough resolution. So anyway, let's try again. Okay, I mean this could obviously be. No, it's just bring. So I'm guessing there's just not enough data for it to create, and I'm guessing that Draw Plus just doesn't have that as part of its even though it's saying mm, even though I'm asking it to be compatibility with Inkscape, inline raster images, draw text as curves, and yeah, and the DPI doesn't seem to make any difference. Let me try one more time. Okay, so I've taken off a couple of options, and we're now going to export it again. Let's just see whether it'll work. It probably won't. File. There's obviously just not enough data for it to produce. No, it's not working. Okay, so I tell you what I'm going to do. Let's try the old Inkscape again, because hey, let's just use different programs to do things. Let me add let me add this screen to the equation. Pretty sure I've got the latest version of Inkscape, and I have the instructions here. Right, so good old Inkscape. Let's open a file, because it's already the data is already there. Artwork. No, I think I put it under logos. Okay, so we've got this one that we've done today. Why did you do that? That's strange. I don't know quite why it did that. Okay, so there's our image, and it says Inkscape select path trace bitmap. Okay, so path trace bitmap. Okay. Path trace bitmap. I don't know what that's doing. I'm not seeing that that's doing anything. Okay, Control Shift E. Or Shift Control E. Inkscape is one of these interesting programs that selection. Okay. I don't want to export it. I want to export. I don't want to export a PNG. Ah, is that what it's been doing? No. Path trace bitmap. It's been properly traced and saved as SVG. The file should import correctly into Blender. Save as Inkscape SVG. Okay. Let's save that then. Yes, let's replace. File. Import. It doesn't look to me like it's doing anything, but ooh, file size has certainly changed. No, it's not. It's not doing anything. Okay. See, this is not really picking up the artwork properly, is it? It's kind of... Save as. Let's try again. Blender. SVG. Oh. Okay, so that's definitely working. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's kind of given me some sort of... Ooh, that's definitely worked. Wow, that has definitely worked. Wow, this has improved. Holy moly, that is... okay, so that's interesting. It's not done it exactly how... Ooh, wrong program. So let's come back here. Really what I need it to do is... Ooh, bear with me 1 minute. Right, okay, so this is... This is my good old... I see, I'm not a massive Inkscape user, to be honest. I have it because of bizarre things like this. I have tried following so many tutorials with Inkscape, and it's just not intuitive at all. This is why I still keep coming back to using Serif, even though this software is so out of date. It's still a very good vector graphics program. It's simple, easy, and it works. So what's actually happening is when I bring it into Blender, I'm getting kind of a double line. I don't know quite why it's giving me a double line. Can I work with that though? Is there enough there for me to work with? Cool. I don't know. I think 2.92 is still a bit buggy. I'm going to go into 2.91 because it's just playing up. I think what would be useful okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to let's just import a picture again. Had an EPS file there somewhere. That would be perfect. See, they whoever it was used Adobe Illustrator, and that's how they got the file originally. So this is an EPS file, which I think the quality is crap. Yeah, of course I don't use Adobe anymore. Let's just bring something else in. That's 300 dpi. I mean, that's pretty big. Yeah, so this is what the problem is. It's making this double line. It's sketching out this double line, and that's not really what I want. I'm wondering whether the best thing to do would be to try and convert this into a black and white image, fill in all of this, and then do an SVG. Okay, so I might do that. Okay, so I tell you what we're going to do. I really apologise if you're finding all this very boring. There isn't anyone watching anyway, so I'm talking to no one. But okay. But if you're finding all this rather boring, you know, as I say, this is real world stuff, and this is the kind of things that you actually come across. And not everything is smooth sailing. The majority of the time, things usually are smooth sailing because people have got the right font, and you know, they've been given the artwork correctly. I'm going to open up let's go in here, Can I open up the EPS file? Because that would be really useful, because then I could get a really high res. Does it give me the opportunity? Oh, it does. Fantastic. Let me bring that in at 600 dpi. Yeah. Let's see what this gives us. Fantastic. Still kind of low res. See, if we look in, we're getting jaggies. Okay, let's do that again. Bring it in higher. $1200 DPI. Let's do that. Still not brilliant. File open. Let's try and bring it in. $2400 DPI. It's going to be pretty big. Oh, now we've got nice. It's a 2 gig file. I like working with big files. Let's adjust. No, what can we do? I want to make the canvas size bigger. Let's make it 200. Let's make it 16,000. Ooh, 16,000. No, what are you doing? 1, 6. One 6. Why does it keep wanting to go 4? 16000. Thank you. Right. Let me save that first. That's a 2 gig file. Yeah, let's just save it as that for now. Good old PaintShop Pro, fantastic program. People don't really realize that they don't really need Adobe Photoshop. Duplicate that. Turn that off. I'm going to convert this to black and white. I think it will work better if it's in grayscale. Can I lower it down even more? to color. Yeah, this is where we're losing data, isn't it? Okay. I think the way I did this before was highlight every, yeah, so we're going to highlight color. Okay, let's add all these. If anything, this video is really just highlighting, as I say, sort of, you know, real world problems that you get with client work. You know, not everything is all plain sailing and hunky-dory, and you know, you can spend a whole day trying to resolve issues, and that's what your clients pay you for, because they want an end product, and they don't really care too much how you're going to get there, but they want it done. And as long as you have a client that, I'm going to create this as a vector layer. So we're on that vector layer, we've highlighted this. I'm going to invert the selection. Right, so now we have pretty much everything in that image selected around the other way. I am now going to fill that with black. Flood fill, just pick black. Okay, what did you do? Okay, let's go back. Okay. Okay, so let's not do that as a duplicate. No. Okay, let's do it as a raster layer then. Why is that not flood filling? Ah, here we go. Let's make and give Blender as much ease as possible. Hey? nice and crisp, clean edges. I'm hoping that this will then give me exactly what I'm looking for to bring it into Blender nice and clean without giving me double edges. Basically what it was doing is it was giving me an edge around absolutely everything but a double lined edge, which obviously I don't really want to work. I don't really want to work with double edges. Do it right in the first place and then you've got less to worry about. This is damn. Okay, I might have to do that afterwards. Anyone got any questions? Nope. The other thing, you know, in case sort of people are looking at me thinking, oh my god, you know, why can't I do X, Y, Z? I'm not a graphic artist. You know, I don't profess to be a graphic artist, and so, you know, this isn't my main line of work. This is just something I do as something that I offer my clients. Why can't I select that? Interesting. Oh, stupid spoon. Okay, hang on. Duh. Had it going the wrong way around. Right, there we go. Okay, so we now have a one color or two color thing. So this, if I get rid of this and get rid of this, this is basically what we've got. Save it. This should produce a nice clean SVG file for me to bring into Blender now. What happened there? What happened there? Don't really understand what happened there. Okay. For some unknown reason that crashed out. It is a big file. I am not surprised. It's probably the biggest file I've ever worked on, to be honest. Come on. I wish I knew more about Inkscape, because I dare say people are probably watching this going, oh yeah, well you can just do this, you know, blah de blah de blah de blah. That's all very well if you know how to use these programs. And to be honest with you, I get pretty much everything done in Serif. I have never really needed you know, any other program, and the only reason why there we go. Okay, right, so I don't know quite why all that disappeared. Let me save this file. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's a 2 GB file. Let's not mess around here. We're using a massive file. Let's turn that layer off. Let's deselect. That's a nice clean image. Let me save that again because I don't want to lose it. Never tried saving a file as an SVG file out of PaintShop Pro, so let's see whether we can do that. Shape? What is the shape? Export shape library? Oh no, that's not what. So let's save as. Okay, wow, many file types. PNG, EPS, GIF file. Yeah, see, you can't save it as an SVG file, and I think that's what Inkscape's for. And obviously Adobe, what was it called? Adobe Illustrator. So yeah, you can't save it. Okay, what can we save it in then? TIFF file would be very big, wouldn't it? So let's save it in that file format. What are the options? Uncompressed, and yeah, okay, save. Let's open the file now in Inkscape. Open. This is why you're using Inkscape, because you can't do it with any other file. Project active. Okay, let's see if we can find it. It's obviously not giving me a SVG. Can you not import TIFF files? Ah, don't tell me you can't import TIFF files into Inkscape. No, really? Wow, okay. This is a bit of a learning. This is a learning. Okay, so I need to save it. Oh, okay. It didn't even save it. But you can't import a TIFF file anyway into... I don't think that was an option. No. Oh, there we go. You can import TIFF files. Okay. Okay, let's see what it does. It's a big file, so... I've got a lot of graphics programs open at the moment. I've got... wow. I mean, I'm running Faststone, Serif, Draw Plus, Inkscape, Blender, and PaintShop Pro, all at the same time. So we've got this. Let's see. Oh, that looks very clean. Very, very clean. Wow. Wow. Okay. Holy moly, that is clean. This should give us a really good wow, I'm impressed. So we need to select the image. We go path, trace bitmap. Single scan. We want smooth corners, optimize. I mean, I don't know what these do. Increase this to reduce the number of nodes in the trace by more aggressive. Ooh. Okay, so let's bring that up to 0.5. Smooth corners. Increase this to. Ooh. Okay, let's bring that up to 1.5. Speckles of up to this many pixels will be suppressed. Okay. I think we want to end... no, we don't want to... Okay, so let's just see what this does. Okay. Can't zoom in on that. Looks kind of blocky. Update. Smooth corners, let's say 5. Update. It's a shame I can't zoom in. It's a bit blocky. Smooth corners. Increase this to smooth corners. I I don't know quite how high can you go. 10. 5. Let's make that 10. Edge detection. Update. I don't know what that means. Update. Oh, so okay, so the highest you can go to is 5. 1.34 speckles. Speckles of up to this many pixels will be suppressed. Oh, okay. Okay, I have no speckles. There are no speckles in there. Edge threshold. Let's invert the image. No, doesn't seem to do anything. 1. Okay. Let's do it. Trace bitmap. Shift Alt B. Shift Alt B. I don't know. Okay, let's save as. Let's select that file again. Replace. I don't know whether that's worked. Let's try it. Let's bring it back into Blender. Let's go back into Blender. File, import. We're on a learning curve, people. Three meg. Wow. Ooh. Whoa. Oh my god. Whoa. Seems to be something going on here. There seems to be some kind of rounded corner thing going on here. But my word, that is... Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. I am impressed. I do need to figure out why this has got some kind of rounded corners on there. I don't want rounded corners. Path. Trace bitmap. edge detection. Update. It is kind of difficult to figure out what this is doing. It sort of doesn't tell you if it's doing anything. We don't want smooth corners. Okay, so no, we don't want smooth corners. That could be what the problem is there. Okay. Save as. Okay, let's save that as again. Replace. So far, I am seriously, wow. I mean, yeah, this has come a long way. This has come a long way since I remember doing this before. File, import, SVG. We've still got round corners for some reason. There's something I'm not doing. Okay, let's just bring this in again. So file, close, right? File, close without saving. Okay, right. So we've got this. Let's start again. Open. I want to bring in that TIFF file because it's really good quality. Okay. No, that's crashed out. Oh no, it hasn't crashed out. Why does this keep coming over onto a different monitor? Right, so we have this original file. This is the excellent file. Let me turn off Blender a minute. Okay, so here we have the file in Inkscape. We now need to go, we highlight the image, we go File, Path rather, Trace Bitmap. We don't want to invert the image, we want edge detection, we don't want to do that. Ah, okay. Right. Brightness cutoff. Ah. We don't want smooth corners. Okay, so let's put this up to the maximum because the maximum is 5. Speckles, we have no speckles. Update. Right, so we have to wait for this to refresh itself. There we go. That's produced a much cleaner image. Brightness threshold. I don't know what that does either. Brightness threshold. Let's just increase this. Okay. Update. Ooh, okay. Update. Yeah. 0.5. Update. There we go. Click on OK. difficult to know what it's doing. See, it doesn't look, apart from the when you click on update, which I can understand, that's fine, but it doesn't actually seem to be doing anything. So I click on OK and it just stays there. This is why I don't like using these kind of programs. Guessing it's done. File, save as this file, replace it, yes please. Okay, we're now coming back to Blender. We're going to go file, import, SVG, import. That's interesting. We have the file. Wow. Okay. Wow. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Wow. So I've learned a lot today. I've learned a lot today. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, and I've now got too many. Right, so I increased. Actually, that's not a bad thing, and it looks quite clean. Doesn't it? They've improved. Yeah, this is looking very clean. Okay, because I really optimized. Wow. I really optimized the number of nodes, so I put it to the maximum. Yeah, so it's a bit. Yeah, it's fantastic on the corners, on the curves, but on the corners you see, look at how many vertices we've got. That's not good. We've got too many vertices. Okay, so really what I'm looking for now then is a happy medium between. Let's get rid of that. Wow. Okay, so this was a bit like extracting teeth in the beginning. But I tell you one thing I have learnt, so I'm going to bring that right down to, let's say 2.5 on the curve optimization nodes in the trace. Let's give it 2. Let's update. Click on OK. And now I'm going to save as that same file, replace. Let's import this. Let's have a look at the quality. Still too high, because you see we're getting multiple vertices on the edges. You see we've got, like, we don't need them. Okay, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to highlight that, and let's see if we can clean. I don't know whether cleaning up will. Can we clean up, decimate the curves? I don't think that's going to do an awful lot. No. So this is the. So it did bring it down. It did bring it down. Okay, let's go down. What was it at? Was it 0.5? 0.5. It's finding that and the brightness threshold was 640. I don't know whether that's going to make a difference. Click on OK. Update. What is S? Covers the area you want selected as the foreground. Okay. Click on OK. I'm guessing that's updating. I don't know with Inkscape whether that's doing anything. File. Save as. Let's save it as that file again. Okay. Let's bring it back into Blender. Let's see what this is doing. It is changing, but it's very slight. I tell you what, I'm going to work with this. Let's work with that. So we need to scale. That is so clean. So clean. So of course this, wow, that is so clean. Wow. I like it. I've learned something today, and that is that SVG support for Blender has seriously improved. I'm going to save this file. It doesn't have a name, does it? Okay, so I'm going to save this as save it as that file again because I created it as that. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm pretty sure that people have probably fallen asleep by now, but this has been a really good learning curve because one, I mean, I've learned so much today. I have learned a lot today that should I ever need to do this again, I now have a really good idea. What's changed from 6 years ago? Blender, obviously. Support for SVG for Blender has improved. The process of getting an SVG file using Inkscape has obviously improved, because I can remember this being a real pain to do this before. Wow, I'm seriously impressed. A lot of things have changed. You know, I've got a different graphics card than I did 6 years ago. Software has improved a lot since 6 years ago. My computer has improved a lot since 6 years ago. So, you know, there's like a lot of things that have improved from that, you know, from 6 years ago, basically, from when I did this. But you know what? I am seriously impressed with the quality of this. This has blown my mind. Obviously, I've got to convert this to mesh, and then I can work on it. But I'm going to stop this video now, because this stream now, because I've accomplished what I really wanted to do, which was to bring in a clean copy of my client's latest logo, and now I can actually work on this. Wow, I can. My mind is racing with the amount of things that I can use this in. I mean, it's this is just amazing. I cannot believe how clean that is. Wow. Let's delete that one. I don't know what this path is. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with anything. That's that one. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. Ah, hang on. What is this one? Ah, okay. Oh, I think that's the one I was working on before. Yeah, that's the one I was working on before, which was not particularly good. This is the one I'm going to be working on. This one. I can see a couple of places that may need to be well, I don't know. I'm impressed with how clean that is. Seriously impressed compared to what my original file was like from 6 years ago. So I'm going to call it a day. Not calling it a day. I'm calling it a day on this particular project because I've learned a lot. This has opened up a whole new world of bringing information into Blender that I had kind of given up on doing 6 years ago because it just wasn't really producing the goods. They've obviously cleaned this up a lot. And this has now given me a really good file to work with, and I can start actually playing with this. God, I'm just blown away. I really am blown away. This has got so much potential now for bringing in all sorts of. I mean, I'm just thinking of other clients now that I can produce really interesting artwork for using Blender because this is so clean. Thank you very much for continuing to stay and watch my videos. I hope you are finding them interesting, maybe. I don't know. I like to do things differently, and I like to give a bit of variety on my channel. Really, you know, unless somebody tells me otherwise, I've got a suggestion box, and no one's put anything in the suggestion box yet on my channel. So, I mean, you know, if you've got any ideas about things that you want me to do, I will just continue to keep producing videos on stuff that I'm doing. Actually, this kind of brings me to the where is the program? There we go. To my project list. So my project list. So yeah, this is now done. This is completed. I don't know whether I can. What can I do with this? I don't want to add text. Okay. So I'm going to select red. I'm just basically going to scrub that one out because that's been done. So this is actually one of the logos that I need to do, and now that we've just done wow, so I'm just going to write down here one started. Okay. No, let's undo that one a minute. So PA logo. Wow, okay. Very interesting. Right, okay, so thank you very much for watching. And I will see you again in another video. In fact, I might even be doing another video later on today to do with the Victorian house, because that's another thing that I would like to get at least progressed a little bit further down the line. Okay, thank you.